I was so tired of the teasers, trailers, and promos for Black Widow. I swore by the time they actually released it, I was going to hate the movie just because of that. Which is surprising because, you know, it's centered around a redhead character, and Hollywood is desperately trying to erase us. But I actually really like this movie, which sort of kills my DC fangirl soul, and every MCU project Disney puts out just devastates me a little bit more. First, no spoilers, I think this was a pretty good movie. I'd say great, though it did have some flaws, some weaknesses, but every MCU movie pretty much does. There's a few I could name that I don't think have any, but I don't want to start a raging debate in the comment section. I generally like superhero movies and shows that are centered around heroes that have actual powers and aren't doing bang bang shooting guns. So the fact that I really liked this movie says a lot because there was a lot of bang bang shooting guns. Maybe it's because there was a lot of martial arts too, and I really like martial arts. I can't think of a single character that I didn't really like. There was no one character that I thought, okay, you're just a stock character here to fill a certain role. There's, I guess, one character maybe I could put in there, but for the most part, I liked all the characters. There wasn't one that stood out as, God, why did they include you in this film? Oh. Cliches. Every actor nailed their role and the writers nailed the script, so damn. And I am going to criticize this movie just for a hot second, DC fangirl. Marvel loves their cliche bullshit. So the fact that I didn't roll my eyes once during this movie actually says quite a bit. Because let's be honest with each other, we all thought they were gonna push hard the whole female angle and woman empowerment like they did with Captain Marvel, and the fact that it just wasn't blatant in your face was really nice. See, we can have characters that are good and fun without worrying about their genitals. It's amazing. I don't think the movie was ever stale or lingered at any point, even though there were some car chase scenes, which I'm one of the rare human beings that doesn't like car chase scenes. Just, it's irresponsible to drive that dangerous. Slow down. I do have another complaint, because of course I do. I kind of feel like they didn't need Taskmaster in this movie. Like, when Taskmaster showed up, I thought, oh, man, I was actually enjoying this movie so far. We're to this point? Alright. Taskmaster wasn't as bamf as I thought they were going to be, and there wasn't as much mimicking of fighting as I thought there would be, so honestly, Taskmaster could have not been in this film, and I still would have really liked it, or maybe liked it more. I think in general, the MCU has a big thing with hit or miss with villains. Either the villain is boring and just sucks ass, or it's just epic. And I kind of feel like they went more towards the boring side with the main villain in this movie. The story was great, the acting was great. It's one of those MCU movies I wouldn't mind watching again. Streaming at home, of course, where I can pause the movie, go to the bathroom, and pet my cats. So yeah, solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, despite it having some major weaknesses, and I'm gonna talk about spoilers now. So if you don't want spoilers, don't watch. Go watch the movie. What else are you gonna do with 2 hours of your life? I was a bit in the dark when, on the MCU timeline, this movie was going to take place. It was probably said in the 1,000+ teasers they released for the movie, but like I said in the beginning, I started to tune it out because I was just so tired of it. So I went into this movie not realizing that it was set between Civil War and Infinity War, which was actually pretty cool. And of course, Natasha was taking down the Red Room between the breakup of the Avengers and Thanos' shenanigans. Why not? I am a bit disappointed we didn't get to see more of the Red Room and the training that the girls went through. I really felt that's what they were gonna do in showing more of a younger Natasha, but they just did it in the opening montage with the music, and we got to see flashes, and that was a bit disappointing. I understand they didn't want to do a generic assassin girls training beginning of the film or part 1, but I wanted to see more of the Red Room and Natasha as a little girl. I guess what I'm saying is I wanted to see more footage of orphans being beaten and tortured. I'm really happy we didn't have any Avengers pop up in this movie. I thought for sure we were going to have an Avenger come in, maybe Captain America at the end, and be like, hey, let's go into the Infinity War. But I was delightfully wrong, which I'm used to being. But I think it was also to respect Black Widow and the fact that it took so long for her to get her own movie and also a send-off for her character, so not having the other Avengers possibly overshadow her, I think was the intent. And honestly, she didn't need any Avengers to help her carry this movie. She did a great job along with the actress for Yelena and David Harbour. Oh, speaking of David, younger Alexei. Oh my god, I didn't realize how sexually attractive that man was until they de-aged him a bit and gave him that haircut, and yes please, more of that. He was really the gem of this movie, to be honest, him and Yelena, but let's talk about him really quick as the Red Guardian. It could have been really easy to overdo his character and just make him too over-the-top ridiculous, but they really walked that fine line, and his character was amazing. Everything about him, just his personality, him being so dense, seeing his super soldier ability. I wish I could have seen more of that, or we could have seen more of that. And it's great to see that just like the USA, Russia discarded and treated like shit their super soldiers. See? We're not so different after all. And just throwing this out there, live action, Disney Plus, Red Guardian TV show. I know we already have way too many MCU live action Disney Plus shows coming out, but my god, I want to see more of the Red Guardian. Disney, at the very least, you need to get a lot more merchandise with the Red Guardian on it. I fucking loved his "your ledger must be gushing red" being so excited and proud of Natasha, where Natasha in the Avengers movie was like, oh, my ledger's red, and it was a bad thing to her, although she was playing Loki. Just the difference in how they think and how he raised her. Well, raised her for only 3 years. He is definitely in my top 3 characters for this movie, and they just made him a lovable little oaf. I wasn't sure about Yelena from all the promos and teasers, but I have to say, her in the movie, she just was delightfully quippy and badass without it feeling really forced and like they were going, okay, she's the new Black Widow, love her, love her, love her. A lesser actress would have taken the poser line and a bunch of the other one-liners, and it could have been total cringe, though I understand saying the word cringe is what weirdo teenagers say, sorry. But she killed it, and they wrote that character so well. And I have no doubt we're going to see Yelena as a Black Widow in the future. I think first she's going to be in a certain team, and then we're going to see her as Black Widow in the main Avengers. Scarlett Johansson, what's there to say about her? She's a great actress. I'm always blown away by her facial expressions and how she can use her body language. I really enjoyed her as Black Widow in her last role as Black Widow before apparently never appearing on screen again. I don't really have any complaints about Natasha in this movie, except for it was really sloppy of you to not confirm your kills. Rookie mistake. Also, did she carry around that blonde hair dye the entire time? I guess if I was a spy assassin, I would always carry around hair dye in my vest, but it was still a bit weird. Speaking of vest, it was really cute that the vest she was wearing in Infinity War was Yelena's vest. Maybe they should have released this movie between Civil War and Infinity War, but I understand it's hard not to fuck up. I do it all the time. Speaking of fucking up, let's talk about Taskmaster. Oh boy. I heard rumors and leaks way back that Taskmaster was going to be a woman in this iteration in the MCU verse. And I remember people being pretty angry. There were some really angry videos put out there about it, but I didn't really rage out or think much of it, and I put it from my mind until I watched this movie. And when I was watching it, I thought, oh, okay, this is definitely going to turn out to be a woman. I wonder who she exactly is. I'm not sure if people are still raging about it and they're upset that she's a woman. I think it's fine that she was a woman instead of a man, but they still really fucked up the Taskmaster character in general. I know they're allowed to deviate and do whatever backstory lore they want. They don't have to follow the comics, but damn. They butchered Taskmaster. In future MCU projects, I'm sure they can fix her and make her better now that she's not a mute, but it was bad. I don't know what you guys were thinking. At the very least, even if you really liked her as a character and you think that the rewrite they did for her was great, you have to admit that they really focused on the mimicking of Taskmaster, and they just seem to promise us so many mimicked fight styles. And then when the movie came out, they fucked us. They teased the hell out of seeing different heroes' fighting styles in this movie, and they didn't focus on it at all. There was a tiny bit, but it was really disappointing. Really, Taskmaster could have been used with a lot more fight scenes in general and was underused, and when she was used, it was just kinda 100% she's most likely going to be in Thunderbolts. As we saw from the post-credit scene, Yelena is already working for Valentina. I'm excited to see Discount Captain America again, US agent. I love John Walker, fucking love him. However, speaking of the post-credit scene, I feel like the whole Hawkeye killing Natasha thing could be cleared up pretty easily. I'm still going to enjoy Yelena trying to kill Hawkeye, and honestly, if that's how his live-action TV series ends, with her snapping his neck, 10 out of 10, I approve. With how much they've been dropping the ball lately, I'm surprised they didn't release Hawkeye first, have Yelena kill him, and then they release the Black Widow movie so we figure out, oh, okay, this post-credit scene sets this up. Cool. Hawkeye has also crossed a line though, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's recruited for Thunderbolts. You know, the whole executing people, generally not a good thing as a hero. Also, Natasha's saying Ross's health is failing, probably is setting him up for some hulking out. So he very well could be on the team too. This is actually insanely exciting. I feel like everyone that's going to be in Thunderbolts, usually when it's B characters, and I'm sorry if it's your favorite character and I'm pissing on you right now, but usually B-side characters is like, okay, I'm gonna read your comics or watch your stuff, but I'm not gonna be really that invested, but I am totally on board for this. 𝒿℃𝑗𝐻, what a basic bitch villain. Though I did agree with his statement that little girls are an unlimited resource in the world, because there are countries, which I will not name, where, you know, it's better for them to have boys than girls. I'm not trying to say that women aren't as good as men in any way. Please, God, don't come after me. But there are places where it is more favorable to have boys. And sometimes they will kill the little girls. So instead, they're being given the opportunity to become super spy assassins. Good guy 𝒿℃𝑗𝐻 is giving those little girls a second chance at life. Well, sort of a second chance, because 9 out of 10 end up dying, but you get the point. Wish someone had kidnapped me as a little girl and trained me to kill, though I'd 100% be in the 9 out of 10 little girls that ended up being killed or failed out and were killed. How I'd place this movie or rank it, I understand it came out in Phase 4, but technically in the timeline it's Phase 3, so I'm gonna rank it against those movies. I think it honestly sits right in the middle of all the movies. Obviously, Endgame, Infinity War, Civil War, they sit at the very top of the list as the best in Phase 3, and at the bottom we have Captain Marvel. But Black Widow, yeah, just sits in the middle of Phase 3. Not the best, not the worst. Pretty good. I'd enjoy watching it again. But what were your thoughts on the movie? Like, subscribe, and let me know how excited you are for the B-Team Avengers.